Hi, my name is Adriana Martinez Marcelonis. I am mixed, Mexican, and white, and this is my video for Hdfs 438638. I want to discuss that from a very young age, first grade, I've known about the color line and that the color of my skin matters to people. I've noticed from white people that they think that I'm too Hispanic to be white, and from Hispanics, I'm too white to be Hispanic. So both cultures don't think I know anything about either culture or belong in either of their cultures. And I was very close to black people, and so I was part of their group and figured, they treated me how I wanted to be treated, and I felt comfortable with them. Being around black people makes me feel comfortable more so than anything else. I don't know why. Well, I do, I just said. But moving over to Vegas, everyone is more together. They communicate more and are kind of more okay with the whole racial segregation thing they're more accepting of different cultures and ethnicities and people of color, and that was important. I didn't know that it was a thing for segregation, the color line by Du Bois. I did not know that existed, really. I knew what it was. I knew that it was racist, and I knew it was because of color, but I did not know that it was already discussed. And for it to still be going on is the problem for me. And it frustrated me with this class that people were getting frustrated with each other. And it was most the class is supposed to be where we're supposed to talk to each other, regardless of tone. We should be able to talk to each other, and we shouldn't have to worry about offending anybody. We should just be like, okay, hear them out, and then ask them a question. We shouldn't have to change what we said previously, and we shouldn't have to try to say it's a safe place, because that class is a safe place. Nobody brought out guns or anything. Nobody was shooting or threatening anybody. We just raised a tone or a voice. And basically, it just reminded me, the class this semester reminded me that of the video with the white people sitting down and just watching what was going on with the colored people. Because the white people did say stuff. I'm not gonna lie, no offense. But they were talking, they did say things that they've experienced. But it wasn't, it was mostly the colored people that were talking about their experiences. And I do consider myself to be white, yes, but I did not have the same white privileges. I did not get treated as a white person would have. I was not as badly discriminated against as black people because I am light-skinned, but I still didn't have the same privileges. Speaking of which, it just reminds me of the whole melting pot thing that I did say. I did talk about how everybody thinks America is so great because it's a melting pot, but melting pot is really just the task of assimilating or Americanizing the children of immigrants, which was metaphorically described as a melting pot, whereby the various languages, beliefs, and customs of the immigrants were melted away and replaced with the common American culture. And that's what that is to me. And people lost their culture. If you look at the Latinos and their quinceañeras, you can really see that it's so much more different. You go back to traditional and compare it from today, dresses and everything, the color of a quinceañera, the way a quinceañera is done, who's there, way different than the traditionals. And not only that, but white people do have their privileges, and we can't just blame white people because it's not their fault. They didn't do it. Not newer generations anyways. The older generations, yes. Ancestors, yes. But not all ancestors, because my family is white and we're Russian. My great-grandparents moved from Russia, and they were still discriminated against because they spoke Russian, and they lost their Russian language. I don't speak Russian. I don't know Russian because they were assimilating to America so that we could live here and be okay, or as okay as we can be, because they were white. And being mixed, we have labels. Being mixed is hard. There's labels all around. We try to give each other labels, and I don't think we should be trying to give each other labels. We should be looking at a person and be like, okay, yes, that is their color, but what if that's really not their color? What if they are mixed? Why are we over here trying to only give them to one category when they could be in multiple categories? Multiracial is a thing. And, you know, the fact that people are sitting here trying to make them into one category gives them their identity crisis. Gives them a reason to think, oh, maybe I should be with them because I get treated better with them, or maybe I should be with them because they're way better. You know, it's, yeah. And then, these safe places, there are no safe places for us, colored people, I mean, because if you look at protests, like the Dakota Access Pipeline protest, my roommate was talking about how her friend saw a native get run over by a white guy. And he's just protesting. They didn't have guns. They didn't have anything. And they still got mistreated. They still, like, they were put into these cages on hard floors. Like, there were no chairs or anything. And that was their jail. And for what? Protesting, but not actually hurting anybody or carrying weapons around. Okay, right. And our safe place in class, that is safe and professional. And that really bugged me that was said about the whole safe place, because it's not like anyone was threatening anybody, and it's not like a voice was raised just to get the point across that white people don't have to think about the race, don't have to think that they're mistreated because they're white, unless they come in contact with a colored person now. Because that might be what white people think about now, is that, oh, am I going to be mistreated because I'm white and they're colored? But no, that's not how it's going to be, if anything. And my family taught me, family is important in teaching everybody, but my family taught me that you should treat others as you want to be treated. And that's what I think we should be teaching our children, if any of us have children, of course. But I think that's what we should be teaching younger and newer generations. Just treat people with respect, and the same way you want to be respected, and the same way you want to be treated, because it doesn't matter about the color of their skin. They're a person too. They have different experiences. They grew up differently, sure. But just because someone had it better, someone had it worse, doesn't mean anything. If anything, it means they still had their experience, and they're still a person, and they should be treated like a person. Because if they started from the bottom, and they got to the same place as a person who didn't have to start from the bottom or make that thing, they should be treated with more respect, because they did a lot of hard work, if anything. And the key for this whole safe place and trying to change the color line or whatever is just education and communication. Helms talks about how it's not good to ignore color, and how it's not good to basically just not talk about it because we're uncomfortable. But the thing is that when we're uncomfortable, we try to make it seem like something's not safe, like we're going to get hurt because we're uncomfortable. No, that's not what's going to happen all the time. And if people would start just trusting each other and treating each other with respect and not ignoring things that made them uncomfortable, it would be better. And it's not like we purposefully put ourselves in uncomfortable places. It's that we're almost always uncomfortable, and we want to feel comfortable at times. So, education, communication, and just treating each other as people instead of like we're just a color. Because we're not just a color. And stop categorizing people. Because I'm both Hispanic and white. I relate to both cultures, and I have both traditions. Look, the Three Kings and everything. Like, yeah. Just treat people with respect. Communicate, educate. And forget if anything. And if not forget, then reteach. Try to make it better. That's all we can do, is just keep teaching, finding new ways to teach newer people or other people, more people, and to educate each other instead of letting each other fall through the cracks and letting things go on as is. Otherwise nothing will change, and this color line will still exist between whites, blacks, Hispanics, everything. Instead of being focused on just your own culture and your own ethnic background, we should be trying to help each other. Because natives did first have this land, and their land is still being taken. Their land is still going, but we didn't talk about natives. They have to carry an ID card to say that they're Native. And here we are. The rest of us, Latinos, I don't need to carry a card to say who I am because I know who I am. But they have to because we've taken who they were.